rotten score on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah, I don't know. Critics are.
I don't really care about that.
I don't care about that, but it's the only. There's something there. There has to be something there because Eternals is very much like the. It feels like the older brother that went to law school and like people like him, but it's like let's not talk about him because he's a fucking asshole, you know?
God
Because I
damn.
don't know. Feels like that one like he went like Jay. It feels like Sang Woo. It's like yeah, he went to SNU University. He's like the pride of the town, but he's like piece of shit, you know?
Yeah.
It's like that.
Yeah. I mean, I'm more in the realm of just like I don't really care if I see here or later or now or later. More or less because it's just I don't really have a character I can attach to.
Do you care about No Way Home?
As going to the movie theater experience.
Oh,
100%.
absolutely, man.
Gotcha.
Gonna see all them Spidey boys. Gonna see all three of them. Just you wait.
Yeah, we'll see. I said
Just you wait.
I keep telling everybody it's like these rumors are true, but I keep saying the same thing. I don't believe it until I'm in the theater.
Yes, sir.
Because they duped me with Avengers Infinity War, man. They duped me. That one trailer that had Hulk in it, and they're all running towards whatever it was they were fighting. Yeah, at the end of that trailer, and I was like, this is going to be dope. That never happened in the movie.
Hulk is like, I'm never here.
Yeah. So I ain't believing nothing until I sit down in that theater, man.
With No Way Home, I'm at least... the only semblance of hope is the fact that Alfred Molina is like officially in the movie, and the multiverse is a thing. So like the possibility is more than less, but still like if there's something that What If taught me is that like expectations can like fuck you up because like oh my god,
Oh, yeah.
nothing in that show like I expected.
True.
We are live. Just letting you guys
Okay,
know.
cool. Dope.
So,
Walt, do you mind doing audio check,
Going-
and then I
going
can
there.
start sharing everything?
Show.
Gracias. I'll be right back.
All right, testing. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 4. We're gonna talk about the war in video games. I don't fucking know. Talk, Jay. Dance, monkey, dance.
hey man, you're not supposed to do that to me. But we should be good. I am.
Yeah, we sound perfect. I
Cool,
think we
cool,
sound
cool.
great. Yeah, all I need is Macho. And Macho, when he left, he sounded great too. We got with Demon Souls. We got some. It's proper. That's some proper gameplay,
Yeah, man.
according to one of the topics. Man, I'm excited to talk about it.
In
Cannot wait.
celebration of a certain game.
Yes, sir. Not the prequel to the Lord of the Rings. They say, ha ha ha.
Nah, nobody says that.
I. Oh man, this is a chill week. We got some good stuff.
Yeah, man.
All right, we should be good. Well, how's
Yeah.
everyone sound?
It sounds good. It's just waiting for you to listen to your voice.
Okay, yeah. Let me know if there's like that crackling
You sound
sound
great.
like that happened a couple episodes ago. Everything's good. Let's see.
Think we should be good.
Yeah, everything's good. Yeah, I don't hear the crackling or anything. Everyone's there.
Cool.
Everyone's here. Just like Smash Ultimate.
All right, let's get started. Guys, welcome back to the 36th episode of the DualShock Sense Podcast. I am your host, Soul, the connoisseur of anime waifus, joined, as always, by my two co-hosts. I got Walt. How you doing, man?
What's going on, y'all? I felt smoke, but the Manga Mania is back. And I gotta say, Jay, I laughed and I died laughing when you made the comparison of seeing me like the Bigfoot like video or photo that you see like in the distance last week from the club, bro. I was taking a shower when I heard that comparison, bro. I don't know what went over me. Like I looked at myself and I'm like, that shit is hilarious. Like I can see my fucking hairy ass just walking through the woods of the club.
Damn.
That was a detail you didn't tell me before.
not literally. It's not a literal fact. It's a saying, macho. No.
Damn, you listen to our silky voices while you're in the shower? I feel honored.
Silky. Yeah, man. But you ready to talk games? Ready to talk putting some rings into the equation? Am I right, y'all? But yeah, man.
Macho, why don't you take it away, man?
Hey, what's up, everybody? It's a King of Kingdom Hearts and a Final Fantasy fanatic, and Jay, I'm a little sad, man. It's sad times for you, boy.
Oh yeah, I heard.
Final Fantasy 14 Endwalker got delayed to the first week of December, and man, it's shout out to all those who took time off from work to do that, because now they got to talk to their bosses. I feel you on that, man. I feel you on that.
That's a dangerous game, man. That's a dangerous game.
We'll get through this together, man. We'll get through this together. But yeah, it's delayed for a couple of weeks. But man, I gotta give props to Yoshi P and the Final Fantasy 14 team, man. They didn't do like a little blog post. We did a blog post, but it was after they announced it on the live stream. But they didn't just do like a faceless post or anything like that. They waited till they did like a letter from the producer, which they normally do before like their expansions or like updates on the game, and deliberately just announced it, and the guy got really emotional. He was like, I'm doing it for selfish needs. I want this game to be the best that it can be. And with that, I think we need a 2-week delay. And thankfully everybody was very humbling about it and saying take your time, and it'll be ready when it's ready. So but yeah, so delay 2 weeks, man. It's sad affair, but it's alright. It's just 2 weeks. What can it matter? Welcome, guys, to the podcast.
That trial is still playable, right?
Yeah. I don't have my mug. God damn it, I don't have my mug.
Yeah, let's move on. So we're gonna start the podcast off, man, by talking about the games that we've been playing. So I honestly haven't played anything this week. So if anyone wants to take it away and talk about what they've been playing, by all means.
Walt, man, you've been gone for 2 weeks, so hit us off with what you've been doing the past couple weeks, man.
So for the last 2 weeks, what have I been playing? The first week, I'm gonna go on that first. I went super heavy on Kena and just getting through the game, because I had played it the night I bought it, like for 3 or 4 hours straight. I didn't get too far because I chose the hardest difficulty, and that game is not an easy game, like in a normal difficulty in and of itself, because it has some hard bosses and hard enemy encounters. But I did that last week, and I got past. I'm the section after the Taro boss fight. So it's like I think it's like the woodsmith of the town. So I'm in that section. I think Narita is her name.
Okay.
So I'm getting through that, having a blast. The game is fantastic. It's beautiful. It's the type of game that I wish that they keep giving it the love that it deserves, and making it like even just bigger in the future, because it truly is a wonderful game. It's hard as heck. I'm a masochist, as I said previously in other episodes, another podcast, that I always choose the hardest difficulty in most games, mostly because I enjoy them more that way. But still enjoying Kena, but it's hard. That was last week. Other than that, this past current week, I went on a hunt, and I looked everywhere, and I scoured the depths of the retail world, and I finally copped myself a Nintendo Switch OLED. And I finally found it.
Oh man,
that's right. That's right.
She's like,
that's right. Yeah, what did Jay say last time? We were like, yeah, we're thinking about getting it. You horse.
Yeah, man. Whoring yourself out to Nintendo, man.
Hey, man.
That's what it is. Plain and simple.
They've been taking care of me. They've been taking care of me so far. I'm eating good with them.
Oh man, whoring ourselves out to Italian plumber. That sounds like a familiar video.
Hey, man.
Oh man.
They call him a hoagie over here. No, man, I gotta tell you, like, as Macho mentioned in previous episode, the difference of that screen of the handheld mode, dude, it is night and day difference. Truly, there are colors in that that I did not. Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
It is. It is. Believe it, man. Believe it.
Haven't played the Switch since launch, since 2017, and getting accustomed to the type of screen it has, switching to PS5 and then going back to the Switch and like actually seeing differences. Picking up the Switch, dude, there are colors there that I did not know existed in like previous games. Because like the previous Switch is like a pale colors. It's not as, it's an LCD screen, so it's not as vibrant. But the OLED, bro, nah, it's good. It's good stuff, truly. And this is more than enough to make me to satisfy me until their new console comes out, whenever that does. I know they have something planned, but for 20 something, but I don't know what that is. But yeah, man, been playing. I played a little bit of Animal Crossing on it. Getting ready for that new expansion with the inner design, I think, house and interior design, and have some more chill times, just like I did back in the beginning of the pandemic. But other than that, man, just gonna enjoy my new Switch and keep getting through my PS5 games. Like Kina, I think I'll get on that after the podcast. And now that Final Fantasy delayed, I've been hopping here and there just to get some minor progression done. Now this will give me more time to get ready.
Yep, that's a fact. That's a fact.
Facts.
Okay. All right. All right.
OLED.
Interesting. Just interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. But no, I'm really curious to see like sort of your thoughts on Kena once you progress a little bit further, because yeah, like as you said, man, the bosses are no joke, and especially the last two.
Really?
Yeah. So
Dude,
yeah, what were we gonna say?
I forgot the name of the motherfucker. Taro. You had mentioned that people were hyping him up to be super hard. And although he was difficult, I feel like I got so conditioned by the Souls games to look for patterns that it was like in 3 deaths, I was able to pick up the patterns and beat him, but he was still not an easy boss per se, you know? It's a difficult game in the sense that you have very small windows to do certain things that if you mess up, you're going to take like half of the health bar down. So, yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, his specifically his grab attack was really annoying.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, and there's gonna be a boss later on with an even worse one, but we won't get into that. But yeah, man. So dude. I feel like this was like the quickest games that we've been playing in like.
Wow. After I held down the podcast for you, after your 6th attempt at getting into the brothel, damn, man, that's wild.
Yeah.
What are you talking about, man?
That's wild, man. That's wild. Yeah, episode 23 of September the 2nd.
Oh my god.
No, seriously, yeah, like literally pulling up the receipts right now, man. Like if you quickly just turn your attention to episode 27.
Exhibit B. Here we see a wild J.
Goddamn, literally ace fucking attorney over here, man. Goddamn.
This man walked out of the movie theater after watching Ghost in the Shell, went straight to that brothel, and he was carrying that manga on his arm, Tokyo Ghoul. He was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna read some Tokyo Ghoul." Psych, brothel time.
Yeah,
you got him.
I'm the like a goddamn Jehovah Witness, showing up to the brothel door, being like, "Let me share to you the good news of Ghost in the Shell."
Legit.
That's
what happens when these hoes ain't loyal. That's all I can say, man.
Oh man, they have you speaking the word of Jehovah Witness or Jehovah. Goddamn. All right, man. So let's talk about some topics, man. This is a
Wow,
pretty
you're gonna skip
Hey,
me like
yo,
that?
wait.
Damn,
Hey,
you really gonna
yo,
skip me?
Jay.
That's wild, bro. Damn, what'd I do to you,
Hey,
ho?
man. I didn't feel like hearing about Final Fantasy 14, man. So I was like, you know what? I was like, you know what? I hope he doesn't notice.
Man, I hope you know I've been playing more games than 14, man.
Then go ahead. Do tell. Do tell. Go ahead.
Fiance, you can just go back to bed with like your head bobbing here. Sorry, she's like making like gestures at me because I'm speaking real spicy right now on the timeline.
Oh man.
Any case,
Bruh.
yeah, no, I actually this whole week I actually been playing Lost Judgment, man. Since like I was pretty focused on like going to the Endwalkers release and stuff like that. I was like, let me actually try and finish Lost Judgment. So I've been playing that, and dude, this is like one of like the craziest stories, man. If like all the Yakuza games are like this in terms of like their story, I'm down, because this one is just like it ups the ante in every chapter as far as like how's this mystery playing out and who are the players and who are the pawns and like all this stuff. So it's good stuff, man. Like the Lost Judgment has an amazing story, and I've only dabbled into the side content really. And I kind of agree with Gene on that point, where he was like before, was like it doesn't really push you to do the side content, so you kind of leave it by the wayside. But man, it's good stuff still. It's really fun because it has like a Persona kind of vibe to it, where you're really, or like a mentor kind of guide to it, where you're playing as Yagami, the detective, but he's also at the same time kind of like helping these kids kind of get through their normal everyday lives that are filled with stress and like kind of like a bullying epidemic within school. So it's good stuff, man. I'm looking forward to actually finishing it. I'm on chapter 9, so I think I got a couple more chapters left in the game, and it's been a blast. I'm looking forward to finishing it and then getting through these platinums on a game that we were talking about last week, Jay. Actually, Guardians of the Galaxy. I ended up finishing that.
Oh.
Yeah, dude, and I got the writer Spark again. On lordsgaming.net, you can actually read my review for Guardians of the Galaxy, and I gave it a crispy 88 out of 100, man.
Nice.
It's a great game. It's a great game. I would say it doesn't land. It doesn't make its landing as smoothly as something like Spider-Man, where all the resolutions came to a head, and it really felt like there was like a culmination of like a big journey for Peter. In Guardians of the Galaxy, it's not really that clean. It's more of kind of like silly Guardians, which I guess like to its respect that it falls in line with what the kind of the IP's identity is, but still I wish it kind of like landed the jumping off point a little better. I think something like the movies did that a little better as far as like where these Guardians went and how far how far they come in like their personal journeys. But with that said, some of the characters, man, there's some of these characters have an emotional range I never even expected. If you were just like to watch the movies, so I couldn't recommend Guardians of the Galaxy enough. I think it's like one of the best games of the year, and it ranks really high in like my top 10 for sure.
Do you think it's a Game of the Year contender or not?
Man,
I'm gonna say
I feel like after all the love it's getting, I feel like it kind of has to be.
yeah, but the thing is, so one of the reasons why that I gave it the score that it did was because that it's not a clean release, man. It definitely has a more than a number of noticeable technical bugs and glitches, where there was a point where there was like and it's one world Peter has to shimmy against a wall and get to the other side so I can get like a chest that it's optional chest. I don't have to get it, but I just want to get it to see what the new costume was. And he actually ended up getting into this infinite loop where every time he went to the one end, he would automatically turn around and he'd shimmy across to the other end. He would turn around again and do the same thing. I had to reload my checkpoint like 3 or 4 times and actually jump across the ledge rather than shimmy against the wall. So essentially kind of just like meander around like this bug or glitch. And there's like a number of those that happened when I was playing. So.
Okay.
So it's not a clean release, man, and I wish it was in the oven a little longer just to get that really good polish. But overall, it didn't really break my full experience. But
I feel like that's the thing that about 2021 that's I guess pretty interesting is that it feels like there's no clear cut like quote unquote like winner. It feels like everyone is going to have more so than any other year. I feel like everyone's gonna have, their own game of the year. Whereas like 2018 it felt like it was God of War or Red Dead Redemption 2. And then 2020 felt like it was like, Last of Us Part 2 or FF7 or probably like Ghost of Tsushima. And Hades, of course, right? Like there was the clear like front runners, and this year, man, like goddamn, there's like Psychonauts, Returnal, Ratchet, Tales. Now Shin Megami Tensei 5 is reviewing really really well. You have games earlier in the year that came out like Hitman 3, Death's Door. It just feels like there's like a ton of like really quality games, but like nothing is really standing out as like the clear cut winner, if that makes sense. So it's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be interesting to see like what at the end of the year for the awards, like what do they nail down as the five? Because Metroid Dread as well. Because I feel like whatever five they do pick, they're gonna leave out some really good ones, and it's gonna piss some people off. I bet.
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah, there's a ton that are really good stuff that came out of this year. And even when I was making my list, I was kind of just really, even now, I was debating like, man, what should be like in this ranking? Because there's a couple of really great stuff that I loved, to the point where like I actually bumped out Returnal from like my top 10 because there's so many other stuff that I loved.
That's the thing. I wouldn't be surprised if both Ratchet and Returnal get knocked off.
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah. Yeah, like Ratchet and Clank is like high in my top tens. Not not even a top five. It's like in a later part of the tens, because like there's so many other great stuff that came out. And Lost Judgment, I'm like immensely enjoying because of just I get to beat up some high schoolers, man.
Oh man, hey, man.
But no, it's just because the story is so good and it's completely unpredictable. And to that point, on Guardians of the Galaxy was just a completely unpredictable release as well, where I just didn't expect to be attached to these characters as much as I did, and for them to have moments that I will finally remember because the great conversations you can have with them, and on top of that, the different conversations you can have with them because everything's kind of like a player driven dialogue. So I'm looking forward to replaying again, see like what the different choices I can make, and if I can kind of rectify any mistakes before I did in a playthrough that definitely left me in a bad spot for certain firefights.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm really excited to get into that game. Yeah, specifically like the conversation between Ratchet and Returnal. Like I enjoyed Returnal more, I think. But yeah, I don't know. Because I think if between the two, I think Ratchet would have more of a chance to make it. But personally, I enjoyed Returnal more than Ratchet. But yeah, it's gonna be interesting, man. I feel like this is kind of like a repeat of 2019, even though 2019 had I think like more standout titles like Sekiro and RE2. But
Yeah,
yeah,
was Monster Hunter World in 2019 or 2018?
no, that was 2018.
Okay, that was actually I didn't realize God of War came out that year too, because that was my game of the year for that year.
It came out what January 2018, right?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I know that was a great year. But this year is such a standout too, man. I feel like we got so many different kind of games this year that are just all worthy of kind of having their place, and not even to mention like all the indie games, like Kena and Death's Door and stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. Notice how I did not mention Deathloop in that at all.
You know it's gonna happen, man. You know all these outlets are gonna put it through.
I don't know. I'm with Gene. I don't understand how people are like, oh, this game's a 10 out of 10. Oh, it's my favorite arcade game. I'm like, did you guys play the other ones? Like, Anyway, um, anyway, so Macho, that concludes the titles that you've been playing this week.
Yeah, just finishing up Guardians of the Galaxy. Go check out my review for it, lordsgaming.net, and I'm making my way through Lost Judgment, man.
Yes, sir.
And yeah, I'll be for Endwalker in December, so we're getting there. I got some extra time to get those platinum trophies, so it's all good.
All right. So let's move into some of these topics. So actually we can start off pretty with some light stuff. Uncharted 3 just had its 10th anniversary, and I wanted to kind of gauge everyone's opinion on Uncharted 3. Like where does it rank, I guess, amongst, the sort of pantheon of Uncharted games? And do you guys have like any fond memories of the game? Like what's sort of like when you hear the word Uncharted 3, what comes to mind?
A great weapon sound design.
Really?
Yeah. Honestly, I am in that camp where I think Uncharted 3 is the best of the Uncharted trilogy. People have such an affinity for 2, and I get it. Chloe, right? I know, I get it, man.
That's not the only reason.
Yeah, it's the only reason.
Nah.
So I in that one scene that it doesn't even hold up to this day and age. So pants.
That ain't true. Don't listen to him.
Ah, man, it's coming from the same. This is coming from the same guy that thinks Amazing Spider-Man 3 is better, or Spider-Man 3 is better than Amazing Spider-Man 2. So
it's true. And I say it proudly. I say it with my chest.
Yeah, it's okay. It's all right. No one's listening. But no, I think Uncharted 3. I don't know what it is, man. Because I think I never really played Uncharted 3 until I actually started playing through all the games before Uncharted 4, when Uncharted 4 actually released in 2016. So I only played Uncharted 2 for that matter. But replaying them back to back, I really liked Uncharted 3, and I just had such a fun ride with this, especially with all like the what it's famous for, which is the kind of the what was it? The super cinematic moments where like you're just the train and the Uncharted 3's airport. Yeah, it's like all of that was just like completely mind blowing to me when I was playing them again. I was like, Jesus, man! Like I can't believe they actually pulled this off and made it like really fun, man. And Uncharted 3 was like, I really, when I say the weapon sound design, like I really mean it, man. Like I was playing, I'm like, damn, these weapons sound like legit right now. Like in Uncharted 2, they just sound like you're hitting like some bullets against like a wet mattress or something. That's
what I still feel like with Uncharted 3.
Oh really?
Yeah,
oh man,
I still felt like that. Like I don't know, it just sounded like you were shooting not a Nerf gun, but like one of those water squirter guns, man. Like I don't know, man.
I don't know, man. Different years, for different folks, I guess. I don't know.
There's a saying in there somewhere. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not by any means no gun audio specialist, man. So
yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah, no shade to your eardrums, Jay. No shade to your eardrums. I'm just saying.
Man, leave them
I
alone.
don't know. It's just like whenever I just popped up like one of those AKs or something, man. Like I felt the impact of it, It's so like and that just kind of carried me through the game and just all those firefights. And I think that the bar scenes in the beginning of Uncharted 3, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that was like an amazing opening too. I love that opening. It was a lot of fun.
That's how they teased the game, with that opening scene. And
yeah, you're right. Actually, I do remember that.
And it really sets the tone for what aspects of Nathan Drake's story you're gonna explore throughout the game, and it's so personal. Because I think with Uncharted 2, although it's my first Uncharted, I played Uncharted 2 first, and then 3, and then 1. Uncharted 2, although a fantastic thrill ride, I think 3 was a bit more personal in terms of its story aspects and story beats. Because Chloe's great in 2. That's not my prime factor in loving 2. 2 is just the one that broke the egg for me in terms of introducing me into the franchise. And I think it has really memorable moments, like the train scene and like the what do you call it? Jeebus, the heist that you pull off with Chloe and the golly, forgot the British guy. He's annoying. The Australian dude. That heist scene, that was a fantastic, memorable scene as well. But with 3, with Cutter and claustrophobic scenes where you see his personality shine more, and where he allegedly, gets shot, and the villain is such a there's so much character to him, and then there's Sully's backstory. There's more to him. There's young Nathan Drake. There's so much going on story wise and action wise. I think 3 is a great blend of everything. Towards the end, you get towards the end, it's similar to how Resident Evil starts with an infection and then it turns into a fucking madhouse of monsters. 3 is very much it's all action and just escaping death from the skin of your teeth. But then at the end, it's magic, and okay, right. We're exploring. This is Indiana Jones.
Wait, what was the supernatural twist for Uncharted 3? I actually don't remember.
It's when you reach the desert palace or whatever. There's a section where there's these djinns, these fire people.
Oh, yeah.
That you have to fight throughout, and then the villain towards the end, he stays back in the palace, and you have to escape the palace before it succumbs to the sand or whatever.
Weird.
It is, yeah. That's the thing. Uncharted 3, although I love it so much, it has that there's certain moments that I'm this is a weird twist to the bigger story, but what brings me back to it in terms of loving it more, it's the characters, because everything just comes together so beautifully.
Same, same. The mythical twist in Uncharted I never really liked them, really.
Yeah. And I compare it to Resident Evil because, again, with Village, you see big vampire lady, and you see this hulking figure of a monstrosity, and this dude with a hammer, and you're like, whoa, what's going on? And at the end, it's oh yeah, they're fucking love. It's Raccoon City all over again.
I was they're what?
No. It's like Resident Evil 2 again. You meet Mr. X and you're like, whoa, who is this mysterious? It's a tyrant.
I don't know what Resident Evil game you play, but I want to play that one.
I was about to say, I don't remember playing that one.
Hey man, Lady D, she be getting all the way.
God damn.
But you know what I mean. It's it starts off with a zombie infection, but it turns into a freaking bioweapon showdown. With all Resident Evil games, that's kind of the twist that turns a lot of people off, because it's like Until Dawn. Have you guys played Until Dawn?
Yeah, I love Until Dawn.
I love Until Dawn. However, it's a twist that not a lot of people like. That it goes from a slasher game to a more mythical, more magic-based, cursed
Wendigos or whatever they're called.
Wendigos, yeah.
I kind of loved it, man. I kind of loved it. It embraced what it was, and
I
can't knock it for that.
And I love it, but it does the same thing that Uncharted 3 did and Resident Evil does, with making you think they're doing one thing, but then boom, nope, magic, or boom, creatures of the deep. I don't fucking know. But yeah, man, 3 is it's a fantastic title, and I think that celebrating the anniversary, picking up. No, that one has Lost Legacy and Thieves End, right? I want to replay through some of the Uncharted games. Not all of them. One can stay over there. But I want to.
Yeah, one is rough, man.
Respect your elders, man.
Hey man, I respect my elder, so I'm gonna leave him sleeping on his bed. I'll bring his cocoa if he wants to, but he can keep sleeping. I'll do everything for him, but don't wake up.
Oh man, you got that one on broccoli status. That's wild.
Hey man.
You got Uncharted 1 in vegetation state. That's wild,
bruh. But yeah, man, 3. I love, and 3 has Chloe too, right?
Yeah, man.
Yeah, Chloe.
Yeah, it's all of them. It's all of them in there.
Yeah. It's like Smash Ultimate. What made Thieves End?
Let's not go too far.
what made Thieves End stick out the most in other aspects? I wouldn't put it number 1 in the series. It's the fact that they introduce characters that you haven't you've never seen previously, and you have to like similar to how other games try to introduce certain characters and like try to develop them as quick as possible for you to care for them. Not that I didn't care for them. I liked Nadine, I liked Sam, I liked these characters, but it felt more foreign, and Uncharted 3 is more familiar because you already had context before and you're already invested in these characters and some of their subplots like Elena and Nathan and their will they won't they and their back and forth and Chloe's like not knowing what the hell she's doing or what she wants or who she's aligned with, and Cutter's claustrophobia and Sully's past, and there's so many things tying each other up. It's fantastic. It's a great. I want to replay that one. That's one of the few ones that I can replay and still enjoy a heck of a lot, especially those cinematic moments and the plane scene that we're gonna see now with Tommy Holly.
Yeah, I agree. Actually, I agree.
That
would be a fun one to go back to.
I call him that now. No. The people, I have spoken. Tommy Holly.
Yeah, Uncharted 3, for me, yeah, it definitely has the best set pieces in the series. I really like the young Drake stuff, but the thing that really I think my favorite part of that game, or at least like one of my favorite parts, is the fact that they actually tease that Drake isn't his real last name in that game, which becomes a big plot point in Uncharted 4. So yeah, I really like that. Yeah, that was teased, and it did feel like it was planned. Unlike because a lot of people say that the Sam's inclusion in Uncharted 4 kind of feels like it's from out of nowhere. But I do like that because it would be weird if they, in the fourth game of a series that they're like, oh, well, that's not his real last name. But yeah, I do like that. There's a little bit of build up to that big reveal in Uncharted 4, with the previous game.
For sure.
But
it makes his endeavors more personal. It makes everything more personal because it doesn't just feel like. It goes more in terms with Lara Croft and how she's doing what she's doing, but not because she's just solely exploring, but it's more personal. It's more of a family matter. It's tied more into her blood. So I love it when it's not just for the sake of exploring and looking for treasure. There's like a stakes. There's like stakes for them, and I love that. And how in 4 you see how him and Sam. This is it. Doing this and pulling off the freaking, what do you call it? The exploration of this ship or this lost treasure. That is like it. That's their life's goal. Like since the beginning, they show you them as kids and how they've been like this since forever. So I like when they make it personal and not just for the sake of exploring and looking for treasure.
But yeah. So yeah, I still think that I prefer 4 and 2. But Uncharted 3 is still a really good time.
What about Lost Legacy? What do you think of that one?
I don't know where I'd rank that. I think there's a lot of like great moments. I probably have to replay it, but yeah, I think especially the last mission is really damn good. That's like peak Uncharted. Yeah, I don't know. It's been probably since 2016 since I've played the OG Uncharted trilogy. So yeah, I don't know. I have to go back to like really solidify that, but. Yeah, Lost Legacy. I mean, it's honestly probably above 3 if I'm being asked that question right now. So, but that might change if I were to replay them all. I'm playing I'm playing Demon Souls right now, and these two dumbass enemies just fell through the stairs and all the way to the bottom of this little tower. Oh man, that's fun. Yeah, so that is Uncharted 3's 10th anniversary. I also will say that I think it probably has like the best, not just like one-liners, but like just in terms of like humor and comedy, I think I remember a lot more of like the character interactions in Uncharted 3 than I do in probably any other game in the series. I mean, a lot of the interactions in Uncharted 2 is also like really really damn good, but especially I feel like especially when you have Sully, Cutter, Chloe, and Drake all together in a room, those scenes are typically like pure gold. Um,
Yeah.
so yeah, I definitely will
Yeah,
say that.
like the cave scene. Again, that's why it's so memorable when they're going through the cracks and they start talking about like Cutter's claustrophobia and they just make fun of him and it's all everything just feels so joyful and so funny and so comedic. And question for three, is three the one with the spider set piece?
Yeah,
Okay, yeah, that's another one that elevates that game for me because it's such though making their way there because only Nate and Sully. There's also some writing throughout all that. That's just it's pure comedy and pure drama and great storytelling. And I think that when it's just them two, it's a fantastic franchise when you can just pair any of them with each other and they just bounce off each other so well. You can literally make a combination of all these characters and it'll work out in a scene, and I love it.
yeah,
Yeah, I think the highest compliment I can give to a game personally is if I'm willing to go back and replay it, because there's
Mm.
really nothing else kind of like that first experience, and going back to it kind of just feels like you're treading old grounds. But with something like Uncharted 3 or Lost Legacy, even 2, I would definitely just boot those up and play them again, whenever I get the urge to play them. So, and I don't really have that for a ton of games, even for some of my favorite games, but like for Uncharted 3 and a couple of those, I think I would actually. 'Cause like, just talking about it just sounds like a lot of fun, you know?
yeah, yeah.
Right.
But yeah, man. Uh, so Uncharted 3, man, it's a classic. So let's talk about just a really quick topic. Spider-Man. Macho sent this in the group chat. The Insomniac
Hmm.
PS4 game. There was a recent interview on I think Games Industry. Correct me if I'm wrong. But Ted Price was talking about the development of the game and said that they actually scaled back the final boss fight to sort of like reduce crunch on the game. So yeah, and it's funny because like, God, you kind of start to imagine like, man, what would an even like a further souped up version of that Doc Ock boss fight would look like? But at the same time, I was completely like satisfied and happy with the fight that we ended up getting in the final
I
game.
think so. I think so too. I mean, it's because we didn't have it was the first of its kind of that scale and that quality, I think. And if we had if they had teased in a trailer more different boss fight and more bigger scale boss fight and then they gave us what they gave us, then we would have been a bit more like, wait, but they promised something a bit bigger. But I think that what they gave us is fantastic. And if what they had in mind was more in line with Spider-Man 2 and on like the train scene that's like throughout like half of the city and they're fighting all over and like causing mayhem here and there, like something of that scale, that would have been phenomenal. But I still think that what we got is more than enough and fantastic ending to that phenomenal game. Especially when you have so many villains, how they made Doc Ock the centerpiece of everything. Even if you didn't like see him as Doc Ock for like the first what 3/4 of the game or half of the game, it was a fantastic finale. I think. Macho.
Sorry, for some reason my mute button was working. Yeah, so I completely love what they did with Spider-Man, especially that finale. I thought it was epic in every way possible. Um,
Mm.
they absolutely elevated what I was expecting from a Spider-Man game. This is coming from someone that's played a majority of the Spider-Man games and liked a majority of them. But this one was just, this was like an epic boss fight. on every level. Like it had all like the trimmings of a Spider-Man story and an epic finale that reminded me of Spider-Man 2 when I first saw it in theaters. You know, like where everything was at stake, you know. So I think they did an incredible job, and the fact that it was toned down was like, man, it's something I can do no wrong, man. They're absolutely like at their prime right now. So I can't imagine of like what they're gonna pull off with Spider-Man 2. You know,
go crazy, go stupid.
Yeah, so it's I'm happy with it. But yeah, I mean, when they said that, well, and then what you're alluding to before of like what else they could have done of like the train scene from Spider-Man 2, that's immediately what I was thinking. Where they're gonna take it into the streets and make it go crazy, where you're just fighting Doc Ock across New York City or the Manhattan area, Times Square, whatever, and just kind of just having it really go nuts. But I really like what they had.
It's like the Rhino opening scene with Miles, right?
Yeah.
Like how you're fighting throughout the whole city, you're trying to stop them, saving civilians on the way. Like imagine that, but with Doc Ock and Peter. Like that would have been insane. That would have been insane. But I see why then to avoid crunch, because again, that sounds like no easy feat to develop something that big scale and large scale. But hey, now we got.
I better not see Rhino in any future Spider-Man game. Straight up, I don't want to see him. I don't want to see him.
He's such a great villain, though. I love.
Is he?
He is. He's a lot of fun. He is. Yeah, he is absolutely. He's like Shocker. He's the absolute beat 'em up villain.
Shocker's cool, man. Way cooler.
Stop
way
it, Jay.
cooler than a guy in a
80s?
way cooler than a guy in a Rhino suit. Come on, man. Than a 300-pound man in a Rhino suit.
Hey, man.
Come on.
It's a. Well, yeah. In this case, yeah. In the Amazing Spider-Man, he's a smaller dude in a bigger suit.
Let me ask 10 people on the street right now, to tell me what their favorite Spider-Man villain is. You really think they're gonna say Rhino?
You think they're gonna say Shocker?
Yeah, there are a lot more people. I bet you at least one of them is gonna say Shocker.
That was cap, dude. Have you seen Shockers? Like, nah, I'm not even gonna get into it, man. You get more people that are gonna say Electro, they're gonna say Shocker.
God, Electro's another one, man. God,
I mean, Electro's like an OG.
I like seeing Rhino in the Spider-Man games because he's always like a fun boss fight for me. Even like the old Spider-Man games where like you had to like brush him like or push him into like the electrocuted like pillars. And
he charges at things. He punches things really hard.
Yeah, he's a rhino.
And that's it.
Yeah, man.
No, I'm saying that's it.
Have you seen rhinos? What do rhinos do? It's like Scorpion. You're not gonna see Scorpion bash a truck.
I'm not saying that that's not what they're supposed to do. I'm saying that's all they do. That's all he does.
Yeah.
It's boring.
He's dangerous.
It's boring.
I'm not saying that Shocker or Rhino are like the most entertaining of all the villains. Well, you got Big Wheel. You want to put Big Wheel in the game?
Dude, actually, you point out a good one though, Walt. I would love to see Scorpion in the next one.
Him too, man. Him too.
Hey, man, I love it how Into the Spider-Verse did it, where you acknowledge these villains are there, but they don't try to focus in on them and then like waste movie time on it.
Oh yeah. They are what they are. It's like in the the new Spider-Man movies where they have like they have the guy that's in the jail that had like the scorpion tattoo, like they're alluding to like the scorpion villain making the waves. But even that, and to be honest, I mean to credit the Amazing Spider-Man, not the Amazing Spider-Man movie, but the Spider-Man Homecoming movie that made a really boring villain, right? Into someone that was actually really cool, and that's Vulture.
Yeah.
You would think Vulture would just be a wet fart of a Spider-Man villain. Usually he really is.
Like in the game.
Yeah, but in the Homecoming Spider-Man, dude, he was awesome.
Bro, it's insane when you're not thinking Vulture when it's dangerous. When they give you that scene in the car that he's like with Peter in the back and he's looking him.
Don't spoil it. Don't spoil it though, because Jay didn't see it yet. He needs to see it.
Bro, Jay, you're gonna experience some stuff in this movie that you don't need a suit. You don't need a suit to experience drama. You don't need a
What do you
suit to,
mean?
bruh.
What?
There's moments
You
where a
gotta
villain,
watch. You gotta watch it, man. You gotta
bro,
watch it.
yeah, because they bring villains to they humanize villains, and that's what I love about like when they touch on a like unknown
Man,
or just how
man,
much is this wet fart.
Doc Ock and Samuel were humanized in the Raimi trilogy, man.
Man,
Don't get me.
I'm hearing a lot of excuses right now for a movie you haven't seen, guys. Damn,
With
you
Doc
got
Ock is
a
expected.
You know
got a
what?
boomer
You
sass
know what?
over here, man.
You know what?
Jeez.
Let's move on, man. Let's move on, man. I'm tired.
Jay's
I'm tired.
pulling off the.
I'm tired, man. I'm tired of hearing this. I'm tired of
Jay's
hearing
pulling
this.
off the back in my day. Shut up, Jay. Just watch the movie.
Yeah, man. I'm pushing up
You
my
expect that
glasses
with
right
a
now.
villain.
Pushing up my glasses. Well, back in my day. Um, let's get into the big stuff, man. Let's talk about Elden Ring, man. So from Software, they debuted over 15 minutes of gameplay, I want to say, for Elden Ring, and the internet, rightfully so, lost their minds. What'd you guys think about the gameplay preview? What was some standout things to you? Talk to me, man.
I always love to point out that whenever they do this gameplay reveals, they never really have the HUD in them, so people can't really figure out what's going on.
Yeah, that was one thing I wanted to see.
Yeah, I was interested to see like what's like the meter for magic and how's everything gonna look, and once they didn't got like a HUD-free gameplay demo, I was like, oh, they want to keep things in the tuck.
Which I mean, when you're doing these kind of like initial big gameplay blowouts, I mean that's usually how these things are revealed. So like, yeah, it's not like I was mad or anything about it, because it ultimately looks, or it makes the game look better, because it's less clutter on screen. It's literally just the game. So I'm not disagreeing with like that choice, but yeah, I am excited to see like, ooh, what does the health, magic, and stamina bar look like? What does the health bar look like? Is there a mini map? Well, we have seen the compass, right? So
There's a whole map.
but like for the HUD, there's a compass on like a Skyrim-esque compass at all times. So yeah.
Yeah, which I love that actual design for navigating, to be honest.
Oh yeah. I prefer it to having a mini map.
The Witcher have it. Witcher had it,
No, Witcher had a mini map. Horizon had
but
a compass.
but I think am I going crazy? Yeah, because I think Witcher also had both. No, the the compass on the top. Anyway, Horizon, whatever. First person games do that a lot because it makes sense. Where they give you the compass on the top. I I prefer a less cluttered HUD and a more sleek one. And if you give me the option to remove some of those components, then perfect. Only games that it's understandable to have a HUD as cluttered as it can come is with Final Fantasy, but that makes sense because there's like a million things you have to be doing, especially in like raids and stuff. Um, but in terms of this game specifically, this seems to be, or it's gonna be the biggest game that's From Software has or will have ever made, in terms of scale and in terms of ambition and what they're trying to do. Because they have, not only in terms of map, but something in this trailer that's really interesting is the fact that they alluded to a boss, yet you have enemies that resemble, they sure are boss scale, but they didn't mention it was a boss. I wonder if there's multiple bosses or if these are not official bosses. I know that the official main bosses are called demigods, but I wonder
It
what are
definitely
the
it
levels.
definitely seemed like there was like optional bosses. Like the one that was on horseback,
Yeah.
that definitely looked like an optional or just like a side boss, and then the big boss was that multi-armed thing. Because this was something that I pointed out when I reacted to the trailer, was that it looked like like for the quote unquote optional or side bosses, what we think to be side bosses,
Mm.
are like you're just like randomly exploring the world and then boom, they just like randomly come in. Whereas opposed to like the demigods, those are you find those within like designated boss arenas. Whereas the side
Yeah,
ones, it looks like it can just happen in like a natural sort of organic environment.
environment. Mm.
Yeah, that's the thing that kind of threw me off and why I was always questioning Elden Ring's design as far as like these optional bosses and stuff like that. Because that one boss on horseback definitely seemed like it was placed, to give people like a sense of like how things can be, but this was absolutely choreographed. Because
Yeah,
even the way like it was positioned like on the hill and stuff like that, it looked like it wasn't like really thought out. I don't know, as far as like I don't know, maybe it's a co-op experience too that was kind of throwing it off. I'm not sure.
I don't know how to explain it, but like it feels like because yeah, you're absolutely right. Like I'm not saying that like oh these are just like random encounters. Like I bet you, or at least I'm
Mm.
confident that like if you're walking through that specific area of the forest, that boss will come there each and every single time until you kill it. Like I feel like that's
Yeah.
probably what it is. But like I guess what I'm like pointing out is that like there's a clear distinction of like with that multi-armed boss at the end, like it had the fog door, it had the cutscene, it had you going into a boss arena as opposed to the one on the horseback where that one didn't have any of that, right? So yeah, I guess what I'm trying to say is that like I don't know, it feels like there's a very like clear distinction between those two bosses.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean
absolutely. Yeah.
when they introduced the horseback one, I could be wrong, Mandela affecting this, but I remember the narrator saying, um, "This is an enemy that guards the gate or something," and it was like near a dungeon, and I don't remember if it was Stormvale or it was another one, but I know it was like more so the guardian of that gate. So I wonder if bosses serve more of a function in the world of guarding something or simply being in their natural habitat, because there's a boss, I assume it's a boss, in the trailer that we got a few months ago that shows an elk or a deer, like a moon iridescent deer that's like flowing in the air, and you're
Yeah,
fighting
in the
him on a
trailer, right?
horseback.
Yeah.
And that seems like a dedicated area for a boss, for an animal or a creature, but it doesn't seem like that's a lord, or maybe it could be, but I don't think that's a demigod rather. So I wonder if these are simply like depending on where you are. So there's like mini dungeons around the map, and then there's like the big dungeons. There are like the Stormvale Castle and all that. I wonder if these mini dungeons are like similar to Final Fantasy 15's like towers, where you'll have multiple layers, and like depending on where you go, it's more so like the Bloodborne chalices. So you have multiple bosses, or you have little bosses here and there. It definitely feels like the bosses serve a purpose in their area. Like that dragon, there's barely any trees, so it makes sense that there's a dragon guarding that area, and it's like a burnt forest and like like a dying, decaying forest. And there's like a dragon that's spewing fire. So I wonder if that's like the guardian or the overseer of that area. Um, it definitely feels alive, though, compared to other Souls games. Bloodborne, not that they felt dead, but they felt made for
Secluded,
that.
yeah.
Yeah,
Secluded too.
they felt secluded, and they felt. I think that Sekiro is the one that started off what Elden Ring refined, and I think it's making the world feel alive. Because with Sekiro, no spoilers for Jay, but there's a section midway through the completely changed the layout. Like you have new enemies, you have new encounters, you have new mini bosses, and it felt ever changing because you had done something in another area that impacted that other area. So in Elden Ring, it very much feels like as you impact this world, it'll start changing depending. So I wonder what happens when you kill a demigod. Will that dungeon cease to exist? Will you not be able to access it? Will there be a new game like will there be an end game where after you kill all the demigods and you kill everything or you do a certain thing, there's like these new extra hard enemies that appear in the world because they're like born of corruption or something. I don't know. If there's a lot of potential, and I can definitely see why Phil Spencer mentioned that this is like Miyazaki's just most ambitious game yet, because there's so much potential here for so many things.
Yeah, I'm seeing a lot of comparisons between obviously it's like Dark Souls, Breath of the Wild.
Yeah.
Which I feel like it's not a far off comparison for people who want to familiarize like what this game is trying to do, because you have your crafting, you have your different kinds of weapons, and then you have sort of like this randomness that kind of feels like it's going on, or a lot of player discovery, which is what Breath of the Wild really mastered in its design.
I take umbrage with that, man. Any game that has a shred of exploration, immediately, oh, it's just like Breath of the Wild. Like
it's look. I understand because it's grating but the thing is, like, Breath of the Wild really is not a blueprint, but like a prime example of like great game design and what I was trying to do. It's the same thing with like Witcher 3 with its story quest design. You know how many people compared Witcher 3 to every other RPG that came afterwards because of the side quests, you know?
Yeah.
Or even Persona 5, which right now is having some contention with a couple of reviewers.
Oh,
I think that
I think we'll talk about that.
I think that one of the big things that makes Breath of the Wild such a great comparison to these games, I think one of the key components in the exploration is making you feel like you discovered it, but at the same time the world indirectly alluded to that area. So it's making a guide without it seeming like a guide, if that makes any sense. So in Ghost of Tsushima, it's a bird or a fox. In Breath of the Wild, literally, it's indicators in the world. You see a ruin, you see an enemy, you see a certain type of vegetation around the area, see a big-ass dragon in the sky. In this case, I don't remember the name, but it was some type of light that like shows up in front of you and like guides you towards another area in this Elden Ring trailer. So it's the fact that they allow you to explore on your own accord, but at the same time the world itself is trying to guide you, but it's not the game guiding you, if that makes any sense. You know?
Yeah, so that's where like kind of Breath of the Wild comparisons come in, and it's not a bad thing by any means, because like this is its own flavor of that, and I think it's something that we kind of just struggle to really wrap our heads around before seeing this demo. But now actually seeing like good 15 to 19 minutes of it, and where it does have its own like a DNA of its legacy, but it's baked in this whole new open world aspect where it's a lot more open to the player rather than linear than what we experienced before with Sekiro and Bloodborne and everything else. It's great. It's great. Like I'm super excited for that.
I also like much in the way of how I felt about Yarnum is that it feels what's it called, the lands between, right? This is what
the lands in between.
Okay. That it really feels like it's just all one interconnected world, as opposed to you going to like, I guess, multiple like disconnected locations.
Like DS3.
Yeah. No, 100%. Because like in Bloodborne, it was like, okay, you could be in Central Yharnam and then, or I forget what location it was specifically, but like I'm just using like Central Yharnam for an example. But then you could see the Forbidden Forest, like if you look down, or so, it was something like that you could actually see places that you would later visit off in the distance. And I think that's the case here, that you could be like in the main hub world, and then you'll see Stormvale off in the distance, and then it's like, oh, okay, you can go there. So yeah, it's really cool that everything is just like all connected.
In that sense, now that's more Breath of the Wild like, and again, not that it's a blueprint like Macho said, but it definitely we can't deny that Breath of the Wild, it did revolutionize exploration in many ways. and I think that Elden Ring is closer to that idea in terms of you being able to see everything from a glance, not from knowledge. So Bloodborne is more, yeah, Old Yharnam. You hear NPCs talk about Old Yharnam. Oh, where is Old Yharnam? You gotta go through these catacombs. Oh, there it is. And you have this sense of abandonment and ancient civilization, but it's still a part of the world that was up there. Elden Ring very much seems like if you see it has that Breath of the Wild thing where it's you see that you can go there, whatever you can see you can go to that, and
Man,
that's
I had
fantastic.
that feeling in Shadow of the Colossus, man.
Woo.
That there was this one like really quick
That's a good comparison too.
yeah, there was this
Yeah.
one really quick moment of the main character just riding his horse and like just soaking in the ambiance of like the world being quiet. There was no one around. There was no enemy for a little bit. Like it really felt like that solitary adventure that Shadow had way back when. Um, Because yeah, the world. I mean, aside from the enemies that you're gonna face, and then the NPCs that you meet as well, the world feels very very empty in that same sort of vein at times. But
But it feels purposefully empty because
yeah, yeah,
there's
I'm not saying that in like a derogatory way.
right. I don't want people to get mixed up when we say empty. We'll let people know when we mean like bad empty, when it feels like there's nothing to do like at all. Like in terms of Shadow of the Colossus, you it oddly enough the game is designed in a way where the emptiness feels like adequate. It feels like proper. It feels like it's a part. It's on purpose, not only from game design, but from the environment itself. And it makes sense that it's even more empty as you progress because you know who you are in the game. But in terms of if you bring me a big map and you don't give me much to do in it, that's the bad kind of empty. And I think I've avoided most of those games because I've learned to like recognize through, teasers and gameplays and some reviews to know if I'm gonna spend 60 hours because I can't find what I'm doing, or if I'm gonna spend 60 hours because I'm doing so much. So in this case, it seems like Elden Ring is a definite platinum. That's a I'm gonna be collecting. I'm gonna be crafting. I'm gonna be
We should
heisting them treasures.
we should also talk about the environments because I think that was probably the most standout thing to me about this gameplay preview is like how
You
not
think?
only how varied each location was, but man, like how gorgeous artistically they were as well.
Yeah, and that you saw a day-night cycle in the work too.
Yeah, is
Yes,
that
sir.
a first time for FromSoft?
I think so. I think it is
Um,
because we saw the
it
game
is.
in daytime, and then we saw it at dawn, and I wonder how much that is going to have effect on the gameplay too, because that's usually the case when it comes to like certain games that have like a day-night cycle. Like it's always there for a reason, not just for it to look pretty.
Yeah,
Yeah. Sekiro had day and night, but it wasn't a cycle. You just had certain missions that took place at night, but because of story reasons, it wasn't part of the world per se. This
Yeah,
time it feels like it is a cycle.
gotcha.
But that's fantastic, though.
yeah. I
Yeah,
love it. I love the environment. I love like kind of the Lord of the Rings esque kind of vibe to it. Um,
Absolutely.
it feels familiar while also feeling different because it's so colorful. It's not as
Mm.
drab as like the past games, or having it such a specific art style like a Victorian art or architecture like Bloodborne
Gothic,
was, or
yeah.
yeah, Gothic Victorian or
Or
what was
medieval,
yeah,
like
medieval
Dark
Japan or something
Souls.
like that.
yeah. It
Or
wasn't.
yeah,
It's
feudal
it's
Japan.
not as
Feudal Japan,
disgusting
yes.
as Demon Souls or Bloodborne. It's
Yeah,
actually like it's
Yeah,
actually like really pretty to look at.
it's pretty, and it's pretty in the way that Berserk is like, yeah, it's pretty, but get into the weeds of it. You're gonna meet some horrible creatures, and this environment. Looking at that tree from the distance, it definitely reminds me of both the coordinate and the Berserk tree. and how this is a world filled with positivity and negativity, and how you'll see both, because there's barren lands that are gray to the just to the brink, and but you have also very vibrant, like reddish brownish, like autumn, like forest. And there's a part where you can see a better angle of the forest, that's like you see where it transitions from alive and vibrant to decaying gray. And I think it's when they're showcasing the PvP and the invasion mechanic, which great. Gotta turn that off. When when I start a Souls game, hey man, it's me. It's just me. I want to enjoy it. Then you can come fuck my game up. But for now, no. I'm gonna explore on my own accord. But yeah, my biggest thing, Jay, in terms of environment, is that we got to see the world, but we only got to see like just fragments of a main dungeon. I wonder how like intricate the other like the true dungeons are, because I know that in the trailer we got to see like some Bloodborne-esque, some Sekiro like more reminiscent dungeons. Like the architecture varies very heavily from section to section, but at the same time it feels like it's a part of the same world. I don't know how they're pulling that off.
I forget.
Fantastic.
I forget. I remember they said it in an interview, I believe, but I think they have stated like how many like main dungeons is gonna be in the game. I want to say I want to say it's like 6. I could be wrong on that, but I think. But yeah, I do think that they did say it.
It's a lot of exploration. I love it.
Yeah. I'm trying to see if there was another thing. Oh, stealth is that's pretty crazy that there's crouching and stealth in this game.
It's not a big surprise because of Sekiro, honestly.
Gotcha. But like I feel like at least from what I've seen of Sekiro, like that definitely is like more suited to like the more like vertical and like mobile gameplay. But like I don't know, it's just weird imagining dark, because this, at least how this game looked to me, you know, from on the outside looking in, it looked way more in line with like a Dark Souls than a Sekiro. But like to see that style of you know Dark Souls gameplay with stealth is so like I can't wrap my head around it. Like I'm playing Demon Souls right now, and you know the idea of me crouching, you know, down below and you know sneaking past enemies, it just like my head does not compute with that.
I think that because of how the environment is and the type of game, because it's more Dark Souls than Sekiro. And with Sekiro, it's not a surprise that the mechanic is there, but it's more of a surprise of how it is implemented. Because I see Elden Ring, I see more Dark Souls than I see Sekiro, but in seeing the option to stealth, that's like how much freedom do you have to tackle situations in different ways? Because with Sekiro, you very much have two clear-cut ways. You either go stealth or you go swords, just mayhem.
Swords clashing, yeah.
Yeah, swords clashing. But in this case, you got magic, you got stealth, you got swords clashing, you got spirits, you got co-op. So you have multiple ways of tackling a situation. With Sekiro, it makes sense that there's stealth. If there wasn't stealth in Sekiro, it would have been odd as heck, because you're a shinobi, and most of the game does revolve around the fact that you're infiltrating and you're sneaking past certain guards and monsters and trying to procure these items for your lord, and being very, very meticulous about it. So this mixture of Dark Souls and Sekiro, it's a welcome one. I welcome it, and I'm gonna be using it a heck of a lot, because there's certain moments where you just wanna not fight anything because you've died too many times and you just want to chill for a bit.
Yeah. What do you guys? I was just gonna ask, what do you guys think of the combat in that sense? Since we're kind of talking about stealth, and that may play a part in combat. Because there's a lot of versatility in there, man. There's some cool weapons I was seeing where, at one point they had like a double bladed spear or
a
weapon. Yeah, or like when they're infiltrating the camp and stuff like that to get supplies to craft their weapons. Magic looks like it's a whole nother ball game in this one.
looks pretty it looks pretty insane in this game. There was
I think
there was actually one thing that like this is kind of related to your question, Macho. With the addition of the jump button, I'm not only curious to see like, okay, like in what ways is this gonna be like, how does that change gameplay? Can we expect a little bit more platforming? Now that the jump button is included, but now also that we have a dedicated jump button, I was thinking, okay, I think aerial attacks are way more like viable now than they've ever been in Souls games, because I've never felt good doing a aerial attack, like or dropping down on an enemy from above. Like I've never felt good doing that. So the fact that now that we actually do have the ability to jump, I'm like, okay, now I actually want to take advantage of that and do some aerial attacks. So yeah, that was, in terms of combat, that was a big thing that I took away from it. And then obviously the magic. I'm usually not a magic user in these games. I usually always just stick with the knight class. But the magic, seeing it, how that, especially that one attack that had like arrows like raining from above. There was one that the your companion, she had like a dragon arm spewing fire.
Yeah, that was cool.
I was looking at that. I was like, wait, hey, hold up. I might need to I might need some magic in this.
Yeah, there's a full Kamehameha moment where they just whisked their wand and all of a sudden a huge beam of blue light just came out, and I was like, Jesus, that looks cool, man. The thing is, I saw that double-ended spear, and I was immediately game for that. But then, I would love to see if maybe you could dabble into like other classes as well. Which this game seems to be the most. It might be one of the most versatile like Souls-ish games that really hampers on you having a great build, or a build that has a lot of variety to it at least.
Yeah. Those classes were looking nice.
I wonder if there's a class that focuses more on aspects like stealth, and that you get abilities that are centered more around that, like how in Sekiro, when you jump above from above to kill an enemy, you have an indicator whether or not you're gonna insta kill or you're just gonna do a slashing attack. So I wonder if you have indicators per se, or if there's animations that you can perform from a top of a cliff to an enemy that will perform like a stealth kill or something. Or if there's a class dedicated to that, or if they're just we say class, but it's more so of the weapons that you have at hand that determine how the playstyle goes. But it's usually just the dagger, more thief centered class. You got your pyromancer, the sorcerer, the knight. I wonder how far you can take that in terms of versatility of the weapons themselves. They're not going full Bloodborne, transform the weapon into a completely different item, but it does seem like more of the Dark Souls press L1 to do like a special attack, and then it consumes mana. But I'm assuming it consumes mana. One of them seemed like it pulled blood from your gut. I assume that maybe takes vitality off. I don't know. There's a lot going on the screen that I question, because we don't have a HUD. I don't know what's getting sacrificed to do these abilities. Same as as fall damage. The gameplay had several moments where this person jumped from just absolutely high up cliffs and did not die at all. Was this person just high level? Is there an item that allows you to just not take damage or little damage?
I saw that too.
Because in Sekiro you don't have fall damage unless it's like from super high up, and then you take a little bit of damage. But there's no insta kill from falling from high up in Sekiro. So I wonder if it's a happy medium where, depending on what you have wearing, are there some boots that allow you to not take damage? There's a lot going on on that gameplay that I cannot wait to delve more when the game comes up.
Yeah.
Or if we get more
yeah, man. Who's picking up that collector's edition, man?
No, I'm not.
Hey, yo, bro. If that little puppy was accessible to me from a store, I would. But for some reason, the fact that it's online only, I was gonna pick it up, but in my mind, I'm like, but is it worth it? I want that. That statue looks beautiful. That figure looks beautiful, but I don't know, man. I'm a collector, but I don't know why I'm not convinced. I don't know why, man.
Wow, really? I saw it online and I immediately pre-ordered it on Best Buy. It comes with,
nice.
It comes with it comes with an exclusive Best Buy steelbook that looks awesome.
Yes.
And on top of the one that comes with collector's edition, that statue, man, I'm all about it. I think that character, I think her name is Millennia.
Yeah.
I don't know about her. I don't know what it is about her character design, but to me, it's like so iconic. I think it's like the red velvet hair and like the whole like the mask and everything, the that covers her eyes and everything. I don't know, something about it is like really mysterious, really cool, man.
You got that 2B look covering them eyes.
Oh God, man, she's fully clothed, man. Y'all perverts.
Hey, man, she got that prosthetic she put on.
Why am I not surprised?
She can take other things off.
Why am I not surprised? Macho horn out for for the collector's edition.
For a fully clothed woman.
No. I was saying for the collector's edition. The collector's edition.
It looks cool, man. It looks cool. The art book too. Come on, man.
Why am I not surprised, man?
The game. I gotta defend myself. All right, it comes with a No, man. I'm surprised. I'm surprised you guys are not super into the collection because it comes with a soundtrack, which you guys love the music for.
Yes.
You know? So
I don't know. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's like maybe in terms of like just purchasing in the moment. Like when it was announced, it caught me off guard in a good way, but I didn't feel like in the moment I was like, I'm gonna wait a few days and then I'll probably pre-order it, because I don't know what it is, man. I'm excited as heck, but I didn't feel compelled to purchase it in the moment. It doesn't mean I won't try to get it eventually, because if I can get my hands on the two big things of that is the statue and the steelbook, and the soundtrack. If I can get that, hallelujah. But the main things are the statue and the steelbooks, mainly because I already have a Hunter statue, a Sekiro statue. Now I want that Elden Ring statue, and I'm looking for the Soul of Cinder statue, so I can have the Great Four, and then I need a Demon Souls. There's no Demon Souls statue, I don't think.
Yeah.
But I'm looking for those.
Well, I mean,
it looks cool. It looks cool. The thing is, like, when it comes to, at least for me, like, one of my inspirations for even for, like, fiction writing, stuff like that, it comes from artworks. And that's why I collect, a good number of art books. And having something from, basically, from Miyazaki and, like, his team's minds of, like, certain enemy design, stuff like that, hell yeah, I'm going to get an art book for one of their games.
Yeah, I'm just giving you shit, because, yeah, I obviously, I got the art book for Horizon, Witcher, Persona 5, and, like, the original Assassin's Creed games when they came out, so, like, yeah, I honestly, I actually haven't thought about this until just now, but I totally want to get like a Mass Effect one now that I'm a fan of the franchise. So.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So, it was purely just like money as to why I wasn't getting it. But yeah, if I had the income, Elden Ring, you kidding me? Yeah, I'd totally get it.
Yeah, no, the price tag is a little up there. It's like $190, which is it's not a hefty amount.
I'm glad Jay said it. So when it was announced, I always, when I see something that I really want, I'm not the kind of person that just buys it and like worries about covering that card later. I always go instantly to my app and I'm like, all right, what's my financial situation looking like? And when I check in that bad area, I don't want to go negative. Let me just wait for tomorrow, wait for the next couple of days, gather some stuff, and then I'm a probably, I don't know if I got Target and Best Buy and GameStop also nearby, so I don't know which one I might do. Probably Best Buy for that steelbook.
Yeah, no, that steelbook is fire, man. It looks really cool with the lion on it, and it's like a white steelbook with I think it's like some warrior on the front in front of the lion. It looks cool, man. Elden Ring's like design overall has always had me since it was revealed. So
absolutely, I wonder if it has a ring in it, like an old ass ring.
I think GameStop actually has like an exclusive on that, where like if you pre-order it, you get like a collector's like Elden Ring or something like that. I forgot what it was. You gotta look it up though.
Interesting. Gotcha. I wonder if this is just a sequel to Lord of the Rings, and like the world just went into chaos because like the ring just shattered the one true ring, and now you're just collecting the pieces for Sauron or some shit.
I mean, George R. R. Martin was inspired by Lord of the Rings, so.
Hey man, maybe this is a dream sequence of Game of Thrones too. Maybe this is when when Ned, I don't know who's seen Game of Thrones, but like when Ned met that fate, maybe this is just his eternal slumber. I don't know.
That'd be funny.
Oh man, I'm struggling over here, man. I'm fighting a boss. I'm struggling.
Oh no.
And it's goddamn one of the easiest bosses in this game. All right, man. So yeah, that was Elden Ring. I think we gave it its due diligence. So we can move on. Yeah, man. So very excited for Elden Ring. When do you guys know when the preview or the test is coming? That people can actually get to play it.
It should be this month. I think it was sometime the second week of November. I want to say it could be this weekend. I don't know. Okay. I didn't get an email for the closed beta, unfortunately, or a closed network test to join it. So, but I've seen a lot of other people being like, "Yeah, I got something really exciting to show you guys." I'm like,
"Yeah, I was like, yeah, shut up."
Man, get me upset on a Friday night. Like, get out of here, man.
Damn idiots.
November 12, 13, and 14.
Okay, cool. But yeah, man. So let us move on to I guess we could talk about what's it called? Spider-Man being the Avengers finally. What was it? November 30th, right? Is when it's coming?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's coming hot, man.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, for sure. Very interesting. Because I felt like I don't know, like because it almost felt like, correct me if I'm wrong, it almost felt like this thing wasn't coming out this year, that it was going to be delayed, and then just randomly, like I feel like they didn't even really like announce it. Like people had to like look on that big roadmap thing that they posted, and then people were like, oh, Spider-Man's there on the 30th. Like I don't know, it felt really quiet. Like I feel like Spider-Man coming to Avengers should be this big thing that you're touting, shouting from the rooftops, right? But then it felt like it was just kind of like buried in that roadmap post.
That's specifically, I don't know. There's definitely some drama going on between Square and Crystal Dynamics, which it does tie into that annual report that Square Enix put out, where saying that Avengers was disappointing.
Oh yeah.
Which I'll actually add to that as well. VGC did good job reporting it. Man, your headline was really inflammatory, where a lot of people were just. They was basically saying how that Square Enix was blatantly saying that Crystal Dynamics was quote unquote the wrong fit for Avengers, which is not really what they were saying. They were just saying that they didn't choose the right, which I don't know. The headline, which is a lot more inflammatory than what was actually being said, which is that they messed up and that they chose the wrong team to do this game as a service model. That they chose it wrong, not that Crystal Dynamics was the wrong fit, but it's semantics. But at the same time, it points out to what they're saying, that they messed up in their decision to give this title to Crystal Dynamics, at least for like the model they were going for.
Yeah.
So I feel like them just pushing out like the roadmap in like a really random tweet that was kind of buried that Spider-Man is coming was sort of like. It was sort of kind of just like a nonchalant way of being like, let's just do what we gotta do just to get it out there. Like, at this point, who cares? Like, because the game's not doing well, and Square Enix is obviously not happy. And I have no idea if this is going to be like really the last piece of, a big update for Avengers, because it's really not hitting, man.
What do you think Sony like? What are they thinking? Do you think that they're like happy that they spent the money for this, exclusive deal, or do they even really care? Because I feel like, is this really anything that that they should have really spent like a ton of money to go out and secure? You know where I'm going with this? Like, I
Yeah,
don't know,
yeah.
man. Is it
No,
really
it's
worth it? Avengers, you
like
know what I mean?
in hindsight, no, right? Because, well, the thing is that you would think Avengers would be, the top selling game, and people would be completely engaged with it because it's Avengers. It's a popular franchise. I think for Sony, what really matters to them is the fact that Spider-Man is tied to their console. Like, when you think of Spider-Man games, you think of PlayStation now because of what they've done.
Yeah.
So this just kind of drives it home, where like, you want Spider-Man content, guess where you gotta go. So for them, they probably don't care. They probably really don't care at this point, because it's already on Square Enix and Crystal Dynamics to do what they gotta do with it. And if they're not supplying, then oh well.
Yeah.
We still
Yeah.
got we still can say that Spider-Man's on our console.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, that was just something that I was thinking about. Um, but also this is kind of a tangent. Well, I don't know if you noticed in Demon Souls, when you kill all of the bosses in the first Archstone, the Boletaria Archstone, because like all those bosses are based off of like I think like knights or whatever. Like Sir Alfred is the Tower Knight. The Penetrator is like another legendary warrior. Now once you kill those bosses, their original human forms, like as they start to fade away, you can actually see their original human form within the kind of like blue particles that goes back into your body once you collect the souls. So yeah, you can actually make out like their silhouettes of like what they originally looked like before they turned into a demon. It's a really cool detail that Blue Point added for the remake that wasn't in the original.
That's actually kind of insane. That
Yeah,
sounds holy shit.
yeah, it's
Like
actually pretty spooky, to be honest.
the detail on that though. It's like but it's yeah, and it's kind of sad because you see them revert back to their normal, but then they're dead and they're inside of you.
Yeah, they're still dead. Yeah. Um,
Dang. It's like
yeah.
nice.
But yeah, that's Spider-Man. I'm really interested to see how he is going to play. Um, in comparison to like the other characters, um, in that game.
Get ready for the comparisons with Insomniacs for sure.
Yeah, I know that's what I'm not looking forward to. But the thing is, like, I don't know, man. What makes a lot, we're getting a lot of comparisons to Guardians of the Galaxy now, because obviously that's like the hot game from Marvel, and it's actually really good. Just like what Avengers missed completely was like having a lot of heart in its game, and just having these characters kind of jump out of the screen that Guardians of the Galaxy and Spider-Man just nail. So
Hmm.
I feel like that's a big part of it too, and honestly, with a character like Spider-Man, it's gonna be a little disheartening to see if he falls in that same vein, you know.
yeah,
I'm
Also,
worried.
yeah. So
I'm very worried because we already have a game centered around the character, and it blew it out of the park in terms of making you feel, it's a meme, but making you feel like Spider-Man, like truly. So I wonder if it'll feel like we go back to the more like archaic games, like more the GameCube era, and like more not jank but clunky mechanics. And because if I'm being honest, the Spider-Man Insomnia game, whenever I play it, it feels like it's an extension of a controller. The way that he moves and fights and swings. I'm worried that once people get their hands on the new one, uh, of the Avengers games, it's not gonna like hold up at all. And I'm worried for that. I'm worried that the comparisons will deter a potentially like fantastic addition to a not too hot game currently. You know.
I honestly wouldn't be surprised if people are if they actually end up liking the Avengers Spider-Man, like in terms of like his character and like how he sounds and how he looks, more than the Insomniac one, because I feel like people right now are down on, you know, Insomniac Spider-Man because of the remodel of his face. So I wouldn't be surprised if,
Right.
you know,
The- Yeah.
almost like in spite of like the Insomniac change, that they're like, oh, this one looks way better than what Insomniac did.
Yeah, that change was really weird. I'm not even gonna lie.
Yeah, I know they
Yuri
had their
still.
reasons, but yeah, I still prefer
Yeah.
the old one.
And Yuri, I think, is like in a line of many reincarnations of the character. Yuri is like one of the few that truly like encapsulates what Peter Parker is. At least that specific era of a Peter Parker, because I feel like every Spider-Man has done some good to their version of the Spider-Man, but that one felt like iconic for that specific role and that specific era of a Spider-Man. So I
Yeah,
wonder how this one will turn out. I mean, hey, maybe it's good. I mean, I'm not saying it's gonna be bad. Maybe it's like compared in the internet standards. Maybe it's like, yeah. If they say it's better than the other one out of spite, that's not gonna hold out very long. People are gonna enjoy the first month and then drop it. But I hope that it lasts
Yeah,
and we
because the
keep.
gameplay is not really, it's not that great, man.
Mm,
Or at least like face value, like it's like there's a lot of depth to it, but as far as like it feeling like as good as other Spider-Man games,
yeah.
it's not. And I could say that playing the actual campaign and playing through the Black Panther DLC, where like everybody loved the Black Panther DLC and the expansion, that didn't really move the needle for the game.
Dang.
yeah. So we should talk about. I mean, I don't know if we really have much to say in regards to Call of Duty Vanguard, but those reviews came out, and it feels so weird that I feel like this is like the quietest like Call of Duty launch that I've seen in like a really long time. Like I feel like much in the same way of how I felt about Guardians, how that release date just like snuck up on us. I feel the same way about Call of Duty. Like it really just feels like it came out of nowhere. Like I feel like Call of Duty is like this big event where, you know, everyone knows when it's coming out, but like this one, it really just felt like, you know, it like just put it out. I don't know if that makes sense, but yeah, it really feels like it flew under the radar. But then reviews came out, and it's like it's another Call of Duty game.
Yeah, I've seen a couple people play it, and it looks pretty good. I personally I'm not gonna play it, but I mean from what I've seen, people like the campaign and are okay with the multiplayer. But yeah, it is really weird how quiet it was when it was released. It was very off-putting. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, for sure. Um, but yeah, it does. Yeah, graphically, you know, those games always look good. Um, but yeah, so Walt, you don't have anything to add about Vanguard?
Uh, Not really. I mean, yeah, technically, great looking. It looks like it plays well. Uh, the cast, obviously, for Call of Duty, and nothing less than Titans like Laura Bailey. Um, Other than that, man, it seems like what I've seen, the reception is more in the lines of this is a good like a good like gap filler while we get the next big one. Like this'll be enough maybe to like entertain the masses for a bit until we get the next big proper title.
Hmm.
Um, but other than that, I don't think I'll be playing it. Last time I got a Call of Duty, I was gifted the Call of Duty and I played it like heck, but it was because, a lot of friends were playing it at the time, but right now there's not many people that play it, and I don't know. Got other games to focus on and more extensive games.
Yeah, that's fair.
Uh,
All I gotta say is that there are other first-person shooters coming out the next couple months that You got the layup, man. You got the layup. All you gotta do is just make the basket.
Battlefield.
All I gotta say.
I'm rubbing my hands, man. I'm rubbing my hands.
I gotta say, because Call of Duty absolutely just seems like it's flying under the radar for multiple reasons. But yeah, it's so weird because we were all like, yeah, Call of Duty is actually gonna dominate as it always does.
I mean, it probably will. It probably still will.
I don't know, man. There's a lot of hype about other ones. We'll see.
I mean, come on. It's still gonna sell 20 million units, and it's
it's gonna sell, yeah. But as far as like what people were actually more excited for, I feel like there's other ones. I feel like Halo Infinite and Battlefield are absolutely at the top of their game right now.
Bro, it's like Apple. Like people love Apple. It sells millions, but who talks about it? Like we know Apple's good. Like we don't talk about it. We don't talk about the iPhone.
Let's talk about PlayStation investing in Devolver Digital. So Devolver actually just went public recently, and so it was revealed that PlayStation invested. They now have like a 5% stake in the company now. So this is really cool, man. This is really cool. I want to see them do this with Annapurna as well, because I really love the games that Annapurna publishes. But what was your guys' game? Are you kidding me? Yeah, man. That game looks cool. Man. Solar Ash is coming out soon. Yeah, come on, man.
Man, you miss me being walking like a cat in the streets, man. I don't know what that's all about.
I bet you that's gonna be a damn good game, man. Don't mess with Annapurna, man. They know what they're doing. They know what they're doing.
And the Pathless did well too.
The Pathless is a great game, man.
Oh, Pathless was Annapurna?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
So was What Remains of Edith Finch.
Yeah, I was about to say. And that weird ass card game, first person card game, White something. Neon White.
Let's let me give you some examples. Outer Wilds, What Remains of Edith Finch, Stray, which is coming out, Gorogoa, Sayonara Wild Hearts. 12,
that one's great.
12 Minutes, which was it was whatever. The Pathless, Kentucky Route Zero, which is a fantastic game. Maquette, which came out earlier this year. Gone Home.
Good game.
Solar Ash, Florence, and I think those are pretty much like some of the big ones. But yeah, like come on, man, Annapurna, they know what they're doing. Come on now.
Yeah, they got good.
Wow, that sounds like a lot of games I haven't played.
Oh man, yeah. I wonder why. Because your taste in games is questionable, man. I wonder why.
I played one of those, and Gone Home was that was a snoozer.
Play What Remains of Edith Finch, man. Do yourself a favor and play that. If there is one Annapurna game that you need to play in your lifetime, play that one. Oh man, I don't like the sound of that.
I'm just saying it's not gonna be an immediate one, but if I see it in my I think it was a PS Plus game if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I don't know.
But if I see in there, I'll download it. I'll check it out. But yeah, it's all those games I have not played, just absolutely no interest in. But and the one I did play was Gone Home, and I was just like not. I was not about it. I was like, it's whatever. I finished it, but I just was not caring for it at all.
God damn! Put down FF14 for 10 minutes and play something else, man. What's going on?
I'm playing Tales of Arise. That's it.
All right, man. All right. So.
But back to Devolver Digital.
yeah. Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead and tell me what's your thoughts about this.
I mean, it's smart, man. Devolver Digital has been putting games on the map for how long now? I mean, Gene alluded to it last week that like they have made some of his favorite games, so they're just knocking out of the park with like what they're publishing. So PlayStation recognizes that and just like, hey, man, let's we want to invest in you, man, because you put on some good games now. But yeah, I think it's smart, man, because Devolver Digital is definitely a worthy publisher to partner with and make investments in. So I think it's a smart move.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I second that. Yeah, I mean, no doubt, Devolver not only in terms of sales and development of games and design, they make some of the most, I think, iconic video games that are out there in terms of the indie space, and when it comes to their marketing, it is just bananas, and it's especially when it comes to the showcasing their games and their like an E3 and whatnot, and just the bad shit lore that they have going on, and I love how they're very much, they don't take themselves seriously in that regard, but they are very serious when it comes to video game development and design and the mammoths that they put out. And I'm glad that PlayStation is recognizing that. I mean, hey, PlayStation can do some things. They do some things well too, man. People talk shit. They do that good shit. They do that good investment. I'm glad this is going on. Especially now with Devolver, mainly a lot of these games you can get on PC, and PlayStation entering that space more. Can't wait to see what comes of it. Maybe you get some more collabs in that regard. More games.
Yeah. I'm sure PlayStation felt some sort of way. We're like, wait, that store is on our console when it releases. Hold up.
Wait a minute. Hold up. Wait a minute. Bring that here to the PS Store.
Yeah, after like 6 months, right? I think it was a 6-month exclusive for Xbox and PC. No. Yeah, so they're probably like, God damn, man, like, come on, man.
Come on.
Good stuff. Yeah, definitely. All right, so what else did you want to talk about, Macho?
I wanted to bring up Game of the Year candidates, fellas. And the reason why I wanted to touch on this because a notable racing game came out in the past week for early access people, and that was Forza Horizon 5, which is having praising and glowing reviews, which is to no one's surprise because Playground Games does amazing work with the Forza series. And I've seen a lot of people on Twitter come across saying that this needs to be a Game of the Year candidate because of what Playground has done and what they're doing with the racing genre and how it's pushing it forward and everything like that. And I thought it was an interesting topic I wanted to bring up to you guys of what constitutes a Game of the Year candidate. We all have our personal favorites, right? We all have our top 10s at the end of the year and what was our favorite experiences. But I think it's an interesting touch to go with and on what really constitutes a Game of the Year. Like, are we talking about pushing the medium forward? Are we specifically talking about graphics, or like what is it that we're really hitting a nail on, especially when it comes to what the critics are thinking? Because you said before, Jay, how it's like JRPGs are kind of weird when it comes to the Game of the Year.
They don't get
awards,
respect, man.
like that.
They never get nominated. Aside from like Persona, that's why you won't see. I can guarantee you won't see Tales or SMT5 nominated for Game of the Year. Even though they deserve it, they won't be nominated this year, just because people don't play them. Well, I should say not. Journalists don't really play them. A lot of them don't. So that's why. Yeah, that's why you won't see them.
And that's to the point of Forza Horizon 5, right? Where so many people are saying it's a great racing game. It's one of the best games of the year. This, that, and the third. But racing genre is pretty niche, man. It's accessible, sure, yeah, absolutely, but it's niche because it favors and it caters to a very hardcore audience that loves cars and loves racing games and stuff like that. So with that said, all the stuff that it does do right, obviously the graphics are insane. Apparently some gameplay additions and improvements that make it more than just a racing game. Does it constitute a Game of the Year candidate for like a racing game? And with that said, what constitutes a Game of the Year for you guys? I'm interested to see what you guys have to say. I guess I'll kick it off just to kind of give you guys a framework of like what I'm working here, because for me, like what a Game of the Year is something that pushes the medium forward and or at least a genre forward in a way that hasn't been done before. So one of the reasons for that for me was Monster Hunter World. When it came out, that was a Game of the Year candidate for me because of what it was doing in its gameplay design, what it was doing in interactivity, co-op, right? All that stuff was funneling into this game that, in my eyes, was absolutely pushing a genre forward that we haven't seen before. I can say the same thing with It Takes Two, where we don't see a lot of co-op games, but what it does in game design and pacing and story and music and everything in that ladder was pushing the genre forward in ways we didn't think about before, or we haven't seen before, or creativity we haven't really touched on yet, or haven't seen it for a long time. And the same thing for me could be said for Final Fantasy VII Remake, pushing the quality of JRPGs forward. So that's kind of like where my framework is, where I'm thinking about Game of the Year, of like what's pushing the genre forward, what's pushing the industry forward in ways we haven't seen before, and that's really hitting on all cylinders when it comes to what it's accomplishing.
Yeah, I don't know. It's for me. Obviously, this answer is going to be different for everyone. Like I'm sure, yeah, Forza Horizon 5 is going to be Game of the Year for a ton of people. But for me, it's really the total package. It's just like whatever. I'm a guy who really values like stories. So like for me, something like Kentucky Route Zero can easily be Game of the Year for me because that story hit me so hard. That's something that and that game didn't come out this year, but I'm just using it as an example. Like that story was so memorable to me. It has to be something that just like left the biggest impression on or impact on me personally. So yeah, it could be something as out there as Kentucky Route Zero, or it could be something as big as Last of Us Part 2, where it really did hit on gameplay and story and visuals and characters and performances and accessibility, music. So yeah, I don't know. It's a tough question because yeah, I don't know. I guess it's just whatever just left the biggest impression on me.
Yeah, and I think that it's not so much in a lot of people's cases. They go very technical, they go very objective, quote unquote, and they look at in Jason's instance, for him it clicks on all cylinders because that's what he values. But there's people that even though they don't necessarily go into a game expecting a phenomenal score, if they try to analyze it objectively, they'll elevate it to contender of Game of the Year. However, another game that the music was more in tune to what their taste was, they'll see it as a lesser contender just because they analyzed it through a lens that's more on par with, like, let's say like an Oscar nomination, where you will have movies that you enjoy more cinematic, Endgame, Infinity War, but then that the nominations are going to include movies more like The Irishman, back in the day, more like Goodfellas, more in the terms of Pulp Fiction, more art pieces than the movies that you actually enjoyed on your time. In this case, what constitutes a Game of the Year? In my case, for me, like Jay, I value story, but if there's something that really, really resonates with me, and I won't know it until I hear it, it's the music. And I don't go into it analyzing it. I don't go into it with a mind to dissect it piece by piece. If the music is, the lack of a better term, if it's hitting, if it's clicking, if I'm vibing, that'll elevate the experience more for me. Which is why games like, again, Persona 5, games like God of War, games like even Sekiro, or games as subtle as Resident Evil 2 Remake, where really a predominant score, but the sound design, the audio cues, for me, audio design and music and score, anything that has to do with hearing and with listening to it, that's what elevates for me a game. And because at the end of the day, it's how the game made me feel, and not so much what I remembered of the game. I cannot tell you like verbatim the story beats of Hollow Knight. I know what the premise is, but I can't remember exactly the boss fights. But I can definitely let you know that I had a hard time, and it was epic, and I had a great time, and I had lots of fun, and I would go back to it even if I don't remember it. But it's because I remember how it made me feel, not so much what I played. Not saying that's a forgettable game. It's just that there's so many games that I'm not going to remember all of them. In terms of Forza, I think Forza falls in line with a premium art package, and that if it's analyzed objectively, it's definitely a Game of the Year contender because what it does so excellently. But
Right.
is it a niche title? Absolutely. Why?
I
Because although,
disagree with that. I don't think
but
I don't
and,
think Forza, I don't think GT are like niche any in the same way that
when
sports like NBA 2K or Madden are niche. Like
I
everyone
wouldn't say
plays these games.
when I say niche, I'm not referring more to like if I say Katana Zero, that's a niche game all around. Like who, no one can, not everyone can talk about Katana Zero or like adore Katana Zero. But when it comes to niche, I mean more in terms of what is considered a game, a proper game overall. Because in Forza you don't have story, right? I mean, do you do? But you're not. That's not what you go to it for. You go for the cars. You go for the customization. You go for the visuals. You go for you go for the quality of the technical performances. You know, when I say niche, maybe niche is not the correct word. I mean more of a. It's not
It's
as
very
popular.
specific. It's very,
It's a
very
very
specific.
specific. That's the case. It's more specific because with example, Sleeping Dogs. Sleeping Dogs has story. It has combat. It has racing. It has stealth. It has martial arts. It has a lot of categories within it, but it doesn't, and it can be qualified more for a Game of the Year because it captures a broader like appeal. I think with Forza Horizon being so specific, you fall in a hole where you rely on that fan base and on the journalists that actually connect with the game to bring it up to Game of the Year contender. But unlike when you have games like Last of Us or Tales of Arise or games that have more subcategories within them, uh, I think they're more qualified for Game of the Year contender than Forza. But I think Forza is Game of the Year contender because of what it does and it does so well. However, I don't know if that's being realistic. If it'll be if it'll even win.
It's interesting. It's
Yeah,
interesting because it's not like you're gonna see this game nominated for best narrative or best character or best
exactly.
music or best action title, action game of the year, best RPG. So like I personally like I don't know, that would be a tough sell for me, but at the same time, if it's a game that you had the most fun in 2021, then absolutely. Then yeah, it's going to be game of the year
Exactly.
for some people. Like
Exactly.
for me like Persona 5, like I still think about that game, 4 or 5 years later. Because it was, my 100 hours spent in that game. I enjoyed every second of it. I think about how that game was presented, its art style, obviously the characters, the story, just the emotional journey and roller coaster that you go through within that 100 hours is unlike many other titles, and that was absolutely the game of that year for me, much in the same way that The Witcher 3 was in 2015. So to me, those are games that are like bar none, game of the year, types of material. And it's funny because like in 2021, like what is that like? What does that look like? For me in this year, and then like I think about like man, like Hitman 3, like I would not compare that game to, a God of War or a Hitman 3. or a Witcher 3 or a Persona 5 or a Last of Us Part 2, but it was absolutely the game that I had the most fun with this year. It was absolutely the game I probably spent the most amount of time with this year. And it didn't have, the best story. It didn't have the best characters or the best music, right? Like in a bunch of those categories, the best action, right? A bunch of those categories, it probably doesn't and shouldn't be even nominated for those things. But just in terms of fun factor and gameplay, absolutely that's a game of the year contender for me. So it's really weird, man. I don't really know how to answer that question. But yeah, I don't know. It's weird.
Yeah, because it comes down to subjective experiences. Yeah.
It's just interesting because like when I see people bring it up and a lot of people are commenting on like what other critics are gonna really nominate for Game of the Years and stuff like that, and it'll be a shame if Forza didn't get it, if it's a shame if Tales of Rise didn't get it, or any other indies or even Death's Door or something like that, which is more than possible of winning Game of the Year because Hades was absolutely one of those. Walking Dead from Telltale is absolutely one of those, right? Where like Walking Dead Telltale was not a master of gameplay in its department, but it still won because of the different and varied experience it provided, and it was top notch from that year. So it'll be interesting just to see like whenever a racing game like Forza does get nominated for Game of the Year because of what it's doing, versus all the other games that people are absolutely crazy about. So I was just an interesting conversation I wanted to bring up. I want to see what you guys take on that, but it'll be cool to see what is nominated because I think a lot of people have a lot of different arguments for a lot of different games this year. So yeah, it'd be interesting what actually makes the round.
That's 2021 in a nutshell, man. Like I said earlier, that I feel like this year more than any other it just feels like a wild card. I wouldn't be like, honestly, I don't think, aside from maybe like Metroid, I don't think that there's any like safe like locks for Game of the Year nominees for the Game Awards later this year. That could be just me, but like I feel like that's how like there's been a ton of like like quote unquote like good games, but I'm not sure if there's been like like a definitively like spectacular like 10 out of 10 experience this year. Like this year feels like it's been like a bunch of like 8 out of 10s across the board.
That's fair.
Yeah.
And honestly,
except for Mass Effect 3, that's a 10 out of
10. I'll take a bunch of 8 out of 10s over like 3 10s because it allows me to explore more genres and games that I wouldn't have touched otherwise. So this is good that it's interesting how the pandemic and all the circumstances made for these games to be good. You don't have masterpieces because they are, as they should be, rare. You have years where you have 3 or 4 masterpieces considered. I don't know if that's cap or if that's legit, but a masterpiece should be a masterpiece. And who knows? Not saying the Game of the Year winner is a masterpiece, but it is the I guess more generally approved winner, at least by the standards of the Game Awards. BAFTA does have other ones, the Goldens have other ones, the gold joysticks. I don't know. We'll see. Maybe Fortnite wins.
Oh no! Stop. No, I mean, and now that you say that, Walt, like out of all the games I played this year and all the ones I love this year, the one that I would really consider a masterpiece would be It Takes Two.
It Takes Two, yeah.
Like, honestly,
and
that
you're not
that
the only
game,
one. There's a lot of people that consider that.
Yeah, that game it's definitely a different. I don't know. It definitely ascended the ranks in ways I just did not expect. And even from some of my favorite games of this year, which was obviously Tales of Arise, Lost Judgments being up there, Resident Evil Village, right? All these games doing amazing things and are just masters of their craft. And absolutely executing in game design, but there's a magic with It Takes Two, man, that I've not experienced before. And I feel like if there's anything that needs to be Game of the Year, I would honestly be really upset if that's not at least nominated for Game of the Year.
Honestly,
like, personally,
I would be surprised if it was. I want them to. I would be pleasantly surprised. But
yeah, I know that's one game I feel like that might get snubbed, and that's one thing I'm not going to be happy about.
I think its early release date is certainly not doing it any favors either.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I think It Takes Two falls into that category of that Animal Crossing did, where because of the circumstances, people were left in a situation where that game clicked better, if that makes sense. Because people were still inside because of the pandemic and whatnot. So who did they have to play with? Their friends, their loved ones, their family members. So what better a game to enjoy than a co-op game, and in that a fantastic co-op game. So Animal Crossing didn't win, but it was definitely considered for some prizes. It Takes Two. I see It Takes Two winning. And that's because there's no clear-cut winner. I see It Takes Two winning. I can definitely see other games winning. Maybe there's unexpected ones. Maybe there's some cap ones now that we call cap and they win.
Yeah, like there's certain games I just do not see winning Game of the Year, and yeah, there's a couple of them, but I won't name them. No hate.
Maybe we got some. Maybe Jet the Far Shore wins. I don't know. I don't know, man. I don't know what wins.
It will be a goddamn. Actually, it'll be hell will freeze over before Deathloop won. Let me just say that,
bro. Let me tell you, I can see that happening.
Macho's side.
Because Macho, I could be crazy, but I definitely see Deathloop winning. I definitely see Deathloop. And
I do too, unfortunately.
And I don't support. I'm not agreeing with that decision, but I can. If someone asks me, "Who do you think is gonna win?" All right, do you want me to go cap or not? Don't go cap. Okay, Deathloop.
I feel it.
Because honestly, like
I see Returnal winning before I see Deathloop winning.
Hell no.
Man,
absolutely.
Oh God,
I mean, I again haven't played Deathloop, but man, that gameplay for Deathloop looks nothing. It looks like a step below what Returnal was doing.
I mean, yes, but let's keep in mind that Returnal is a very difficult game, and let's keep in mind the people that are voting for these things. No shade, but let's.
Oh man,
Hey,
are you saying that's not as great of a game because it's not like another game that's in this past? Is that what you're saying?
I mean, let me speak plainly here. If these journalists couldn't finish the game, then there's no way that they're gonna be able to vote for it. Simple as that.
Right.
Simple as that.
Aren't they adding, or they just added a save feature?
That's true. That's true. Maybe some people will go back to it.
Yeah, man. Now you'll have that. I forgot the name of the feature, but yeah, you can essentially just leave it unlocked and exit the game and continue later. So
I mean that doesn't make the game.
It
doesn't make the game any too much easier.
It doesn't make it easier, but it gives you time to chill and think about it is, and then continue it.
Yeah, sure.
I'm sure everybody wants a discovery mode for that game. I'm sure.
Yeah.
Hey man, we got time before the Game Awards. Y'all should try it and then put in your votes and then decide if it's contender or not.
It's not gonna happen.
I mean, that kind of bleeds into the other topic that we wanted to touch on real quick. Jay was SMT reviews, man.
Yeah,
it's a game without the heart of Persona.
Why? Let me just say this. Why? And I'm actually gonna take the opposite. I'm gonna play devil's advocate, and I'm gonna take the opposite approach to probably what you guys were expecting. Why are SMT or I guess Atlas fans in general why are they so bothered by this? It's just some guy's you know what I mean? It's just some guy's opinion. Who cares? You know, but like they were making this thing
Like all
trend.
reviews.
They were just making this
Yeah, they made Persona trend. They did.
yeah, they quote
I mean, that's
tweeted that
good.
review like over 1,000 times. Like, are you guys kidding me? Like, this guy doesn't know what he's talking about. You know, like, it's just so weird to me. Like, who cares, man?
It's more like when you see a kid talk about like, oh my god, I can't wait to own a house and everything. I'm like, yeah, okay, boy, okay, yeah, it's that easy. It's that easy. Yeah, you'll get a mortgage and everything. It's like you listen to this kid, to this dude, whatever, this person, and you clearly see that. They don't know. Yeah. And people that get bothered, it's the same people that get bothered when someone trash talks their K-pop like favorite dancer or singer, and they just go and droves and trend some BS title or whatever.
But then it's like that shouldn't change your. If you truly love, that K-pop band or whatever, then someone else's opinion shouldn't sway your opinion about them.
Yeah.
It's
You know how many
almost like
times Jay shit talk Kingdom Hearts? I'm just like, ah, bro, you got it. I can give two shits what this man says about Kingdom Hearts.
Exactly.
It's almost like these people are fake fans or something.
No, but like at the same time, these
Fake
people
outrage.
haven't played SMT5 yet. So
Yeah,
like
fake outrage.
So like, if for all intents and purposes, hey, maybe it is Persona without the heart. I mean,
But that's the case.
they wouldn't know.
These people are insane. Cause like let's say no, that's the thing. Like let's take it at face value. Yeah, let's give him the let's prove he's right. Yeah, he's right. Yeah, he is. Yeah, I can safely say, Shin Megami Tensei it doesn't have the heart that Persona does. Of course it doesn't. Why y'all capping in Twitter? Like,
It's so funny.
Don't pretending that you're gonna start SMT5 and go fucking life will change and freaking wake up, get out there. No, bitch, it's the apocalypse. You're dying. It's dark as heck. There's rock music in the back. You're dying 100 times because it's hard as heck. This ain't Persona. You ain't going to your teacher and asking her for some love. You're not going with your maid outfit and pretending that. No, man, come on. This ain't fun times.
All I'm saying is that like this isn't this isn't even slightly as egregious as the Miles Morales with all the swagger of a black teen.
Bruh.
People are making it out like it's that bad. I'm just like, let's hold your horses, man. Like, come on.
Yeah.
No, it's like the way I see it, and to kind of play devil's advocate, it's like if a reviewer was taking a Kingdom Hearts game and they're like, well, it doesn't have the edginess of Final Fantasy, and that's why it's getting a lower score. I've been like, all right, then what are you really looking for if you're reviewing this game and saying that? So I can kind of like see where some SMT fans are kind of really salty just on the reviewers' notes, regardless of what the score was, which was a great score. The reviewers' notes saying like, yeah, it's not as great as the Final Fantasy games, but it's pretty good. And I'll be like, it's not. Kingdom Hearts is not trying to be Final Fantasy, nor is SMT trying to be like Persona.
Yeah. Purpose. They should go. Oh, why is Persona trying to be like SMT? That's the whole point. It's a spin-off. It's a spin-off title. Persona was made.
Yeah, it's the other way around.
SMT.
Yeah, it's the other way around actually.
They were trying to cater to a broader audience because SMT is so damn like edgy. It's like the whole point of the existence of why Persona was born. And look at that, the mammoth. Ironically, Persona has become a more popular title or franchise than SMT has, but that's because SMT has a more niche appeal.
It's more hardcore, yeah.
It's more hardcore. It's harder.
No matter what I see about Shin Megami Tensei, people always say that it's harder.
It's harder, and it is. It's like comparing Dark Souls to Bloodborne. I definitely think Dark Souls is easier than Bloodborne. I think that just makes sense for me. Because Bloodborne in this case is the Shin Megami Tensei. Dark Souls is the Persona. But that's because it just appeals to more audience because it's easier to play. And that's fine. But Shin Megami Tensei? No, bro. Apocalypse. It's Apocalypse, demons and angels. Ain't no personas here. These are legit demons. These are legit demons. But yeah, man, it makes sense. But that's cap. That's cap.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, man.
interesting, man.
Yeah,
People are
I thought
funny.
the outrage was hilarious. Just of how people were just being like, "This
Man,
reviewer sucks." I'm
and
just like, "Bro, relax."
and then even Atlas's Twitter account like got into it as well. I'm like, all right, come on, man. Like, let's chill.
Yeah, did
It's
you
not
see
that
that?
serious.
I saw the Twitter and they were like, "Oh man!" And then right below that tweet, they were like, "By the way, buy Shin Megami Tensei 5."
Yeah, I was like, all right, well done, well done. Uh,
Got
um,
that Wendy's energy.
yeah,
It's facts.
that KFC gaming energy too. Um,
Oh, that was some funny shit, bro. That
yeah,
was some funny shit.
that's a pretty good account. Um, but yeah, man, I think that is going to do it for the pod. Guys, I want to thank you guys for coming through. If you stopped by live or checked us out after the fact, we always appreciate it. I want to remind you guys to go ahead and drop a like on the podcast. I just fucking died, man. God damn it. Uh, it's always, wow, it's always the fucking dogs in these games, man. It's
Uh-huh.
always the dogs.
They
They
catch you by surprise, man.
always, they're the most dangerous enemy in these games.
It's like the crows of Bloodborne.
Yeah. Yeah, I wanna remind you guys to go ahead and like the podcast. Consider subscribing. We recently got an influx of subscribers, and we see you. We appreciate it, and we hope that you guys will continue to rock with us as we continue
Yes,
to
sir.
grow. And yeah, so we're gonna get started with these outros. Macho, why don't you kick things off, man?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. The Kingdom Hearts and Final Fantasy fanatic. We're getting closer to Endwalker, and I can't wait. But we gotta wait a little longer. So in the meantime, I'll be playing Lost Judgment. I will be going for the Platinum Guardians of the Galaxy, Tales of Arise, and Scarlet Nexus. I gotta do this actually the second playthrough for that game too. Um, in the meantime too, I recently picked up Sekiro, man. At seeing
Woo!
Elden Ring, it got me in the mood. It got me in the mood. So I might be jumping back into Sekiro with that nice frame rate bump that it got on PS5. I'm hoping for that Bloodborne one, man. But in the meantime, I will dive into Sekiro again, more than likely, trying to dib and dabbing. Looking forward to that because Sekiro's a great game, man. I'm excited to get back into that one too.
Nice,
Sir.
nice. Walt, what about you, man?
Well, what am I gonna do? I'm gonna be enjoying that OLED. I'll be enjoying the beauty crispiness of Metroid Dread on that OLED goodness. Gonna be hopping on Nino Kuni and the Curse of the White Witch, I believe it was named, the first one.
Nice, nice.
Uh,
That's a good
that
one.
one, that one I haven't played, so I'm excited to jump on that one into the Switch because I played the second one before the first one. Um,
I'm excited to see what
what
you
else?
say. That's one of the best games on PS3 when that came out.
Ooh, I'm excited then. I'm
That's one of my
excited.
favorite RPGs, like hands down, man. So good.
I'll get to experience it in OLED goodness. Um, Other than that, man, Morcana here and there, getting through the story. Uh, and hey, man, not gonna lie, Macho just said that Sekiro bit, and gotta tell you, I myself got a bit of influx right now, and I kind of wanna download it again. You wanna
Yeah,
get
man.
through, get that New Game Plus, and get that platinum because I didn't get that platinum, and I might get that. Might start getting that. Yeah. What about you, Jay? What you got?
A whole lot of nothing, man. I don't know. I don't know what I've been playing or what I'm going to play.
Mm.
I've really been
Start
watching.
start going down that list, man. Tales of Arise, all those games.
Yeah, but that costs money.
I feel that. I feel that.
I really just been watching a lot more TV. To be honest,
Mm.
than playing games lately. Um,
Tight.
yeah, that's just kind of the
Well,
year. That's just the year it's
any,
kind of
any,
been for me.
any recommendation for the people or anything you're watching now?
Still dark. Still go absolutely go and check that out. Even though I finished that like 2 months ago, I still think about it. Um, I've been watching ever since Squid Game, I've been getting a lot more into like just Korean TV and dramas. So obviously Sweet Home is if you're if you're looking for like a follow up to Squid Game, Sweet Home is great. Kingdom as well. I just started that. Alice in Borderland, it's Japanese, but it's still the same vein of
survival.
Yeah, death game sort of genre. Alice in Borderland is really really good. So I finished those pretty recently.
Check out My Name.
Mine. Did that just come out?
It just came out, I think, a week ago or so, and it's a Korean suspenseful thriller.
Is that the one with like some girls like seeking revenge or something?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yep.
I actually just added that to my list last night.
Nice.
Yeah. So that my latest project has been finishing Fear the Walking Dead. Where was I? I started it this year, and I stopped, I think, midway through season 4, like probably like in the summer, and then
How many seasons does it have?
It's on season 7 right now. Like
Wow.
season 7 is like airing like as we speak.
Wow.
Yeah. So I stopped at like somewhere in the middle of season 4, and then I just picked it up again maybe a month. I'm like at the last episode of season 6. So yeah, it's an interesting series. Like the first 3 seasons, season 3 specifically is like top tier. It's really damn good. Season 4 is rough. Not in a good way, as in it I cannot get over the villain in season 4 is fucking atrocious, man. Like I cannot believe, like, after seeing that season, the second half of that season, and the villain of season 4, I felt good about my writing, man. I was like, okay, if actual like TV writers put that on page and had actors perform that, and it actually made it through post-production and got on a TV screen, if that was approved to be on TV, I could fucking make it, man. Like, god
Man,
damn.
you just keep watching CW shows, man, and you really feel good about yourself.
Hey, man, the 100's all right, man. Let's not get carried away.
I mean more of later seasons of Arrow and
Gotcha.
Batwoman. Yeah, mostly like their DC superhero shows are kind of like absolute gutter trash.
But yeah, so season 4 is the villain of that season. Her name is literally the Dirty Woman. That should that should tell you all you need to know. Absolutely an awful character. And season 5 is not much better. But weirdly, I was still like hooked and like compelled just because like I really like the characters. So like, even though the motivations for these 2 seasons were dumb as hell, like it's one of those things where it was so clearly there's no like overarching story. Like, it's just characters just doing random shit for those 2 seasons. Season 6 gets back on track. Like, there's an actual like main villain and an actual like overarching story that, like, okay, it makes sense that like all these episodes are like connected, and there's like an actual like story that they're following, as not like, you know, season 4 and 5. So season 6 was definitely a lot better, you know, based purely off of that. So yeah, I'm excited to finish that off. So yeah, Fear the Walking Dead for sure. I think that's pretty much what I've been watching recently. I feel like there's something else, but yeah, I think that's pretty much it. In terms of anime, not too much. I think I've been kind of bouncing between Akuma Drive, something like that, on Hulu. It's like this like heist kind of anime, which, you know, I'm really into. Yeah, so yeah, just a bunch of TV more so than games, which again, it's just kind of been that kind of year for me, I guess, where I don't know, I kind of go through these stints where like I just don't feel like really playing anything. And I've really felt that a lot this year as opposed to last year. But yeah, that's it for me. Yeah,
Cool,
that's
man.
that's gonna do it for the podcast.
Well, just real quick, if you want a recommendation, Jay, just to let you know there's a free trial for the
Okay,
award-winning.
guys, I wanna thank you guys so much for joining us today. We will catch you guys next week, same time, for episode 37. Peace out.